does the divine whisper to you? In the vastness of existence, amidst the chaos and beauty of life, there is a subtle yet powerful force that is always trying to communicate with us. Whether you call it God, the universe, or the divine, it never leaves us. Even when we don't notice, it's constantly guiding us. But its voice isn't loud or demanding. It doesn't shout orders or try to control us. Instead, it speaks softly, like a gentle nudge, an intuitive feeling, or a quiet knowing that comes from deep within. The divine doesn't force its way into our lives. It waits patiently for us to tune in. Just like the stars are always shining in the night sky, its guidance is always there. But to see the stars, we have to look up. And to hear the whispers of the divine, we have to quiet the noise of the outside world and listen with our hearts. These whispers aren't random. They are messages woven into the fabric of our daily lives. They show up in small, unexpected ways. A sudden sense of peace, a gut feeling that leads us in the right direction, or an unexplainable pull towards something new. So how do we recognize these whispers? How do we tap into the sacred messages that are constantly being sent our way? The answer lies in opening more than just our eyes. It requires opening our souls. Because the divine doesn't speak to us in logic or in obvious signs. It speaks through our intuition, our emotions, and the quiet moments we often overlook. Maybe you've felt it before. That deep sense of knowing that doesn't come from your mind but from somewhere deeper. Maybe it's that strange sense of comfort in the middle of uncertainty, the little voice that reassures you when you're afraid, or the unshakable feeling that you're exactly where you're meant to be. The divine's whispers don't come in dramatic, earth-shattering ways. They come in the stillness of a morning breeze, in a song that speaks to your soul, in the words of a stranger that feel like they were meant just for you. Sometimes they appear when you're lost, when nothing makes sense, hidden in the pages of a book, in the laughter of a child, or in the way the sunlight filters through the trees. These whispers are always there, waiting for us to notice. But in a world full of distractions, we have to make space for them. We have to learn their language. That means choosing stillness over noise, trust over doubt, and presence over distraction. The divine is always speaking. The real question is, are we truly ready to listen? The language of intuition. One of the most profound ways the divine speaks to us is through our intuition. It is that deep, undeniable knowing that exists beyond logic and reason, the quiet voice within that whispers truths we may not yet understand. Intuition is not just a fleeting feeling. It is a sacred dialogue between our soul and the divine, an internal compass guiding us toward our highest path. Have you ever felt an unexplainable pull toward a decision, even when it made no logical sense? Maybe you walked away from an opportunity that seemed perfect on paper, only to later realize it would have led you down the wrong path. Or perhaps you followed a sudden inspiration, took a leap of faith, and found yourself exactly where you were meant to be. These are not coincidences. They are moments of divine intervention, moments when your soul was aligned with the wisdom of the universe. But how do we distinguish true intuition from fear-driven thoughts or wishful thinking? The key lies in cultivating inner stillness. When our minds are cluttered with doubt, anxiety, and external noise, it becomes difficult to hear the gentle whispers of divine guidance. Through meditation, deep contemplation, and mindfulness, we train ourselves to listen, not just with our ears, but with our whole being. Intuition doesn't shout, it gently nudges, often appearing as a sense of peace, a quiet certainty, or a deep knowing that feels like home. When we learn to trust these whispers, even when they defy logic, we step into alignment with our soul's highest purpose. Synchronicities and signs. The universe is not chaotic. It operates with divine precision. Every moment, every encounter, Every seemingly random event is part of a grand, interconnected design. The divine constantly leaves us signs, guiding us through synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that feel too perfect to be random. Have you ever repeatedly seen the same number, like 1111 or 222, at key moments in your life? Have you ever thought about someone and, moments later, received a message or a call from them? Have you stumbled upon a book, a song, or a phrase that answered a question you had been silently pondering? These are not mere coincidences. They are signs, small yet powerful confirmations that you are on the right path. The more we acknowledge and honor these signs, the more frequently they appear. They are like a conversation with the divine, subtle but persistent. If we dismiss them as chance, they fade into the background. But if we recognize them for what they are, they become a source of guidance, offering clarity and reassurance. The divine is always speaking. It is up to us to pay attention. Dreams and visions. When we sleep, our conscious mind rests, and our subconscious becomes more receptive. This is why dreams have long been seen as a powerful channel for divine communication. Many ancient cultures believed that dreams were messages from the gods, visions sent to guide, warn, or inspire. Even today, many of us have had experiences where a dream revealed something significant. Whether it was a glimpse of the future, a visit from a lost loved one, or a symbol that later made perfect sense. Divine whispers often come in the form of recurring dreams, symbolic imagery, or intense emotional experiences during sleep. Have you ever had a dream that felt so vivid and real that you couldn't shake it even after waking up? Or perhaps a dream that seemed insignificant at first, only to later reveal itself as a profound truth. These are moments when the divine is speaking, offering guidance beyond the limitations of our waking mind. Keeping a dream journal can help decode these messages. Upon waking, write down any symbols, emotions, or details that stood out. Over time, patterns will emerge, and the deeper meaning of your dreams will become clearer. Sometimes, the answers we seek are already within us. We just need to learn how to recognize them. Tuning into the divine conversation. The divine speaks in many ways, through intuition, synchronicities, dreams, and countless other channels. But the question remains, are we listening? The whispers of the universe are not meant to be rare or extraordinary. They are a natural part of our existence. The more we attune ourselves to these messages, the more fluent we become in the language of the divine. To truly hear, we must be willing to slow down, to embrace stillness, and to trust the unseen. When we do, we open ourselves to a world of guidance, love, and wisdom, one that has been waiting for us all along. Through others, the divine's human messengers. Sometimes, divine messages don't come in the form of inner whispers or dreams, but instead arrive through the voices of others. The divine often speaks through people, strangers, loved ones, teachers, or even random passers-by, delivering wisdom exactly when we need it most. A single sentence from a friend, a line in a book, or an unexpected conversation can suddenly provide clarity, comfort, or direction. Have you ever been lost in a dilemma, unsure of what to do, only to hear someone say something that felt like it was meant just for you? Maybe you were scrolling through social media and stumbled upon a quote that answered a lingering question in your heart. Or perhaps a stranger shared a personal story, and in their words, you found your own hidden truth. These moments are not accidental. They are divine interventions woven into the fabric of everyday life. The key to receiving these messages is awareness. Not every word spoken to us carries divine wisdom, but when we listen with an open heart and an attuned spirit, we begin to recognize the difference. True divine messages have a certain energy about them. They resonate deep within us, often bringing a sense of relief, clarity, or even chills down our spine. They carry a frequency of truth, an undeniable sense of alignment that feels like a missing puzzle piece finally falling into place. To hear the divine through others, practice deep listening. When someone speaks to you, don't just hear their words, feel their meaning. Be present in conversations and allow yourself to be guided by the unseen forces that orchestrate these encounters. The more you trust that divine wisdom can come through any person at any time, the more you will begin to recognize these sacred moments in your daily life. Emotions and inner turmoil. When discomfort is a divine message. Most people expect divine guidance to arrive in a warm, reassuring way, like a gentle whisper telling them they are on the right path. But what if the divine also speaks through discomfort? What if unease, restlessness, and even pain are signs directing us toward transformation? Think about the times in your life when you felt deeply unsettled. Maybe it was a job that drained your spirit, a relationship that no longer felt right, or a life situation that made you feel stuck. That inner turmoil wasn't random, it was a message. The divine doesn't just guide us toward what feels good, it also pushes us away from what is no longer serving our highest purpose. Instead of resisting discomfort, we must learn to sit with it and ask, what is this trying to teach me? Is my soul out of alignment? Am I holding on to something that I should release? Is there a greater version of myself waiting on the other side of this struggle? Discomfort is often a sign that growth is calling. It urges us to step beyond our comfort zone, to break free from old patterns, and to embrace the unknown. Just as a seed must break apart in the soil before it can sprout into something greater, we too must endure moments of inner breaking to step into the next phase of our journey. Rather than avoiding discomfort, lean into it. Treat it as sacred guidance. Journal about your emotions, meditate on them, and seek to understand their deeper meaning. When we stop seeing pain as something to fear and instead view it as a divine signpost, we unlock a deeper level of wisdom and self-awareness. The power of nature, a divine conversation with the universe. Nature is one of the most direct channels through which the divine communicates. The entire natural world is a living, breathing language of symbols, messages, and energy. Every tree, every river, every animal carries a wisdom that speaks to those who know how to listen. Ancient cultures understood this deeply. Indigenous traditions around the world viewed nature as a sacred teacher, filled with omens and guidance. A butterfly crossing your path might signify personal transformation. A sudden gust of wind could symbolize a shift in energy, and the appearance of a particular animal might hold a special message for you. Think about how nature makes you feel. Have you ever stood by the ocean and felt an overwhelming sense of peace? Have you ever watched the sunset and felt something inside you awaken? These experiences are not just beautiful, they are divine whispers reminding you of your connection to the universe. Spending time in nature helps us align with these messages. Walking barefoot on the earth, listening to the rustling of leaves, feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin. These simple acts open the doorway to divine communication. When we slow down and truly observe the natural world, we begin to notice patterns, symbols, and synchronicities that were always there, waiting for us to pay attention. If you feel lost or disconnected, go outside. Sit under a tree, watch the clouds, listen to the sounds of birds. Ask the divine to reveal a message through nature, and then be still enough to receive it. Silence and stillness, where the divine speaks loudest. Perhaps the most powerful way to hear the divine is through silence. In a world filled with constant noise, notifications, conversations, responsibilities, silence has become rare. But within the stillness, the sacred voice of the divine can be heard most clearly. Imagine sitting by a calm lake with no distractions, no urgency, just the quiet hum of existence surrounding you. In that space, insights emerge effortlessly. Clarity arises. The mind, no longer cluttered with endless thoughts, becomes a receiver for divine wisdom. This is why meditation, prayer, and solitude are such powerful spiritual tools. When we make space for stillness, we create an opening for the divine to enter. It's not that the universe suddenly starts speaking. It has been speaking all along. We have simply become quiet enough to listen. If you find yourself overwhelmed, confused, or disconnected, take time to be still. Even a few minutes of intentional silence each day can transform your awareness. Sit in a quiet room, close your eyes, and just breathe. Listen, not for words, but for presence. You may be surprised at what begins to unfold. Final thoughts. The divine is always speaking. Are you listening? The divine does not shout, nor does it force its way into our awareness. Instead, it whispers, through intuition, synchronicities, dreams, emotions, nature, and silence. The question is not whether we are being guided, but whether we are paying attention. The key is to slow down, trust your inner knowing, and open yourself to the guidance that has been there all along. Listen to the whispers, follow the signs, allow the divine to illuminate your path.